I bought this 2005 E55 AMG Wagon from an auction in Japan 2 years ago, and I did this for several reasons, which I'll explain in this video. I'll also explain how I have a left-hand drive vehicle in a country that typically sells right-hand drive vehicles, and no, I didn't just flip the image to trick you. And I'll even tell you how much I paid for this thing landed and on the road. And I'll even be switching from my stock winter wheels to my super sick summer setup right behind me, right there. So stick around, subscribe. Please watch the whole video for the algorithm. Thank you. Pull up a chair time. So you guys might not be familiar with me, but I do review cars on the straight pipes. That is my full-time job. Yes, I review brand new cars, but my passion is really used cars. I've always loved them. But at one point, I got to review a 2018 E63 Wagon, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I believe that was the W213 5th generation E-Class. It was incredible. It was one of the fastest cars I had ever driven, and I said it was the best car in the world at that time. And I even got to drift them on a frozen lake in the middle of Canada, thanks to Mercedes Canada, which was incredible. So that just made me fall in love with them even more. And then I actually convinced Mercedes Canada to give me one for 2 months when my son was born. So my son's first ride home was in an E63 Wagon. As nice as the 2018 one was and the 2021, they were $150,000. I didn't have that kind of money to spend on a brand new E63 Wagon. I love the experience, but I think I can find something a little bit similar for a little bit less money, actually a lot less money. That's when I started shopping at the used market because I love my used cars. However, E63s of the used ones, not even the S's, were like $50,000 plus for the wagons. I didn't really want to spend that kind of money on a car that I was going to be driving with, puke in the back and kid boogers and wrecks sitting in the back. I didn't have it in me to be able to destroy a car like that. Plus, at the time I was driving a 2010 Ford Raptor. That was the daily. Wasn't very practical with a car seat in the back and the suicide doors and stuff. So on top of all that, I found some problems with the E63s. Now, as much as I love the sound of the E63 with the M156 naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8, it's got some problems that I didn't really want to deal with. Things like head bolt issues, camshafts, among a few other problems kept coming up. I'll leave a link to an FCP Euro blog in the description. So that was the point that I started looking at E55s. I was looking at forums, reading basically everything as any car guy does. Hey, Rex. And so what I was finding was everybody said that this engine was bulletproof and the transmission was equally bulletproof, and they can handle so much more power even when tuned. So I got extremely excited because I was like, man, I can make this thing even faster, even though I probably shouldn't. I will get to that in this video. So this is an M113K, that is the engine code. It is a supercharged 5.4 liter V8 that makes 469 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. And it's underrated, trust me. Now, I do realize that I just made a full video about all the problems with the E55 AMGs. Go watch that video for more detail. But to me, this was the more reliable one, and that was my #1 purchase factor. This needed to be reliable, at least to some extent for a Mercedes. Now, Hellcat guys, coming for you next. You see this thing? This is a supercharger. You weren't the first. So this is an IHI, which is actually the same company that supplies Hellcats with their superchargers. It is a 2.1 liter twin screw supercharger. It's bolted right on top of a V8, just like your Hellcat. This chassis, you borrowed it for all those Hellcats. It's the same chassis. Dodge owns it because Dodge was the same company as Mercedes for a couple years, a weird time. And yeah, that chassis lived on forever in the Hellcats. So there you go. This is the German Hellcat wagon. And everyone's gonna be like, what about the 03, 04 Cobras? These also came out in 03 and they destroyed Cobras. These things were so fast. And again, reliability was my #1 thing. It wasn't about the speed, but I'm just mentioning that. Also, the transmission, it was thrown into cars like the McLaren SLR, Dodge Pursuit vehicles, because yes, the collaboration with FCA, whatever Chrysler was called at the time. So yeah, I felt like this was the platform that I couldn't lose with in terms of reliability. But the speed of these cars definitely didn't hurt my purchase in any way. In 2003, when these cars debuted, they were the fastest sedans and wagons on earth. Yes, the wagon came later. This is a 2006. The wagons came in 2005. But they made similar horsepower to V10 Vipers at the time, and Corvette Z06s. And you know, I like speed if you see everything behind me. So the decision was made, and now the easy part, buy one. It's easy to buy a car, right? Well, they only sold 195 of these things in the United States of America. That's it. And 8 in Canada, where I live. 8 of these things. That's rarer than most Lamborghinis and Ferraris and possibly even Bugattis. I don't even know. 8 in Canada. There was no chance I was going to find one. But they made 1,444 globally. That's also rarer than some Lamborghinis that I also get to review on the straight pipes, like the Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato that I recently drove. Go watch that video on the straight pipes.
Whoa, over there.
Lamborghini.
Both have Lamborghinis.
We both have Lamborghinis, that's right. Then I came across Eclection Auto, who imports cars from Japan. He had a ton of pictures of them and actually bought one at auction, which was sitting at his Japanese dealership. So I didn't actually have to get him to bid on it. I sent him a message and he said he can get that exact one landed in Toronto for $25,000 plus taxes, or $18,500 US. I hadn't even sat in one of these, never driven one, but with those prices and everything that I had read, let's do it. Deal was done. And a major part of why I got it for so cheap was because of the mileage. It was high mileage for a Japanese car, which to me was nothing. It was like 165,000 kilometers or 100,000 miles. To me, that's literally nothing. So I didn't hesitate. Now to address the left-hand driveness. Yanase is the company in Japan that has the exclusive rights to import cars like Mercedes, Audis, BMWs, all that high-end stuff. And just like in North America, it's kind of cool to have a right-hand drive car. In Japan, it's cool to have a left-hand drive car because most of their cars are right-hand drive. So depending on the manufacturer, with certain luxury brands, certain cars like Mercedes, you actually have the choice of ordering your car in left-hand drive or right-hand drive. So a lot of the E55s that I've seen, actually most of them, have been left-hand drive. And that is literally the only reason that this is left-hand drive, which is perfect for me in North America because I would not want to deal with a right-hand drive daily. Not daily, I'm still open to that. Not daily? What does that even mean? I waited about 2 to 3 months for the car to arrive by boat, and when it came, it was everything I had hoped for. It had 20-inch wheels on it that were in really bad shape, so I found some stock 18-inch wheels locally and had them installed with new Continental Extreme Contact Sport 02 tires. Then these wheels became my winter setup, which I'm currently driving on, with a set of Continental Viking Contact 7s. Yes, I daily drive a rear-wheel drive supercharged V8 wagon in the winter. It's completely fine. Get yourself a set of proper tires like these ones. And in case you're wondering about this wheel gap, I've already raised the car up to max height so that I can get the jack underneath to switch these tires out. And you know what? Now would be a good time in the video to switch out my winter setup for the summer setup that you guys have been seeing behind me. Look at those. Ooh. I bought these off eBay last year, but I had them completely refinished by Ontario Wheel Repair. So as I get my jacks, get this thing up in the air and install my wheels, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about these wheels. This is the first time I'm mounting them since refinishing over the winter. I ran these last season, but they are in horrible shape. These are called Alfards. They're a Mercedes OEM wheel, which people think is from the SLR McLaren because there was a concept that was similar, but they're actually from the R130 generation of Mercedes SLs. I know they're not everyone's taste, but I wanted something different that I haven't seen anyone else do, and I wanted to stick to 18s for the ride comfort. So I had Ontario Wheel Repair fix all the curb rash, machine the faces, and paint the inner pockets a slightly darker shade of silver to make the faces pop a little bit more. They also fixed a slight bend in the wheel. They did an incredible job, and I would highly recommend them for any wheel repair or refinishing. I've also dumped my factory air suspension for that park stance. Watch my other video if you want more details on the air suspension I recently had to repair, as well as the aftermarket lowering module. Look at that, Rex. Look at that, buddy. How sick does that look? You love your German Hellcat wagon, buddy? This is from your homeland. Oh yeah, these look sick.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Damn. Also, wheel bolts. You can go family wagon shopping. That's what you can do. I also changed the grill because it came with like a JDM grill, which had the emblem over here, which I never really loved, but it was kind of cool that it was JDM, but it wasn't period correct or, never came with the car. So I swapped it for an original one and the original hood star because it's just so damn classy. I also modified the exhaust. Oh my goodness. Look at those wheels, the concave. I also modified the exhaust with a Hot Rod Scott's valved exhaust. Let's play a clip of that. Supercharged V8s, any V8s, they just need to breathe. You got to put an exhaust on them. Do it for the sake of yourself and all of your neighbors. But a valved one is really nice because when I'm leaving like early in the morning to catch a flight, close that valve, leave, blast open the pipes. Next thing, I restrained myself from completely modding this thing into oblivion thanks to Alex from Legit Street Cars, who put me in touch with VRP Speed and basically gave me their entire catalog that I could throw at this thing. And I only chose to do a maintenance modification, which is the Bosch intercooler pump, the 010, which I addressed in the E55 Problems video. These things will make 600 horsepower easily. Like, I'm talking very low amounts of money in the thousands. Basically, because of the supercharger, it's got a pulley. You put a smaller pulley, you put a little tune on it, you throw some headers on this thing. It'll make 500 to 600 all day long, very reliably. But I did not want to do that because I have all these other dumb cars to do that with. But my son loves how this thing sounds, and that's the most important part. And he already thinks this is the fastest thing in the world. Well, he did experience the E63S, but I did not floor it because he was like months old at the time. This thing I floor all the time. He says, "Daddy, faster." I go faster. The only other thing that I did, which is why I'm showing you the rear, is I did the anti-gravity battery, which is located in the trunk. Watch my other E55 video for more detail on that. And then the last minor thing that I did, I replaced the headlight bulbs just because they came with like a JDM, like 8000K, like very blue lights. Not sure how these are coming across on camera, but I went with like a 5000, just like a white, which these should be as close as I could get them. And that's it. So even though I filmed the other video of all the E55 AMG problems, as you can see in this video, there's way more pros than cons to this thing. I mean, look at it, especially with these wheels. Come on, I think I'm one of one in the world like this. But there's only one other car that I think I would replace this one with. But as of right now, I'm gonna keep that one close to my chest in case I do buy one, but the values of those are going so high right now that I feel like they're only gonna go higher. I just can't see myself spending that much right now. Leave a comment below if you can guess what it is. You'll probably get pretty close, if not exactly. But maybe I will be able to afford one because when these become US legal to import after 25 years, because in Canada we can import these in 15 years, that's why we get a 10-year head start in all the prices. And once you Americans get a hold of them, the prices just skyrocket. So this one is gonna go up, like for sure. At least I hope so, because I'm kind of banking on that, because then maybe I'll be able to afford that other car. So let me know what you guys think of the E55 AMG Wagon. Do you see all the benefits over the cons? Should I have gotten an E63 and just dealt with the problems in order to have the way better sound, although the sound's really good? And come on, look at these wheels. Just leave me compliments in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Oh, and now I have to clean all this stuff up. So while you finish your dump on the toilet, I'll be cleaning all this.